Jamar Chase carries the Bengals with 3 touchdowns. Are the Cowboys frauds, or are the 49ers just that good? The Patriots lose in their second straight blowout. The Bears shock everyone with a 20-point win over Washington. The Steelers win another close battle in the North. Episode 6 starts now. Welcome, beautiful people, to another episode of the Two Dudes Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Freak.
And I'm Babs. Week 5 is in the books, so let's talk about it.
All right, Babs, we're going to start with the disaster in Santa Clara. I got a lot of things that I got to say about this game. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible. Where do I start? I'm to the point to where Dak Prescott can't beat teams that we see in the playoffs. Past 2 years, he's had 19 interceptions, and he's missed 17 games, and he's making over $40 million a year. I think right now this season alone we're paying him $60 million, and he's up for a contract extension. I'm to the point to where if he doesn't make it out of the divisional round, we need to move on, regardless of what the cap hit's going to be next season, because it's obvious that he can win in the regular season and he can win against teams that aren't that good or aren't playoff teams. But when we play a team,
nobody can beat the Niners right now. They're making everybody look bad.
I mean, that's not. I mean, the only good team they've played is Dallas. They've got to play Philadelphia. They couldn't beat Philadelphia. That's the only team that beat them last year. Granted that they didn't have a quarterback in that title game, but still
nobody's touching them this year.
They're gonna have to go through Philadelphia,
and they're gonna smoke Philly.
They're not gonna put 42 on Philly.
They're gonna put points up on Philly.
Game's gonna be that Philadelphia game, and it's in Philly. It's gonna be I don't see the Niners putting up 42 against Philly. But
Niners are just disgusting right now.
The Niners are really good, well coached.
Yeah.
And they're really physical.
Their offense is probably one of the best. Their defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't.
They're hard to stop all the way around.
It's not Prescott's not the only person to blame for that game. I put a 50-50 split on Prescott and McCarthy. Both of them are the reason why that Dallas lost that game. Prescott couldn't execute. He looked like he was a high school quarterback. And Mike McCarthy's game plan was fucking vanilla.
Yeah, the game plan was blah.
You get in every other play, you could see the frustration in CeeDee Lamb's face. Like at this point, like they're gonna continue sticking with somebody that wins against garbage opponents but can't beat playoff teams. the other players around that organization aren't going to want to stay because, and then Jerry Jones goes off running his mouth again, talking about how that we can win a Super Bowl with Prescott. After that performance against the Niners, no one's fucking saying that. There's no shot we win a Super Bowl if Prescott plays the way that he played Sunday night against a playoff team. There's no way we'll get anywhere close. We'll lose in the wild card if he plays like that against another playoff team. And we're not going to get an 8-9 team like we did last season in the Bucks. That's not happening again. So if we want to do anything, Prescott is going to have to win against good teams.
The issue y'all are going to have right now is your defense is dwindling. Didn't you have, 2 or 3 more people go down?
Yeah. We don't know what their we've got Leighton Vander Esch and Donovan Wilson are questionable. Those are the 2 highlights.
When your secondary is can't hold a defender long enough for your defense to get to them,
us
there's
losing
not much you can do.
Us losing Diggs is affecting us off the field and on the field.
Yeah, you got to think. Prescott was hit 9 times. He was sacked 3 times. Like, when you have that much pressure on him, Dallas's defense should have done the same thing, but they couldn't hold the receivers long enough.
Dallas just couldn't do anything. And like I said last week, I think the team needs to focus on who they're playing instead of running their mouth. And as soon as the game was over, Mike Parsons was on his podcast running his mouth, talking about that, about George Kittle wearing a "Fuck Dallas" shirt under his pads and everything.
I mean, they fucked Dallas.
They did, and they ran it at and they ran it at him.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also blame Dan Quinn for lining him up against on the left side of the line against their best offensive lineman, their left tackle. They didn't move Parsons around. Maybe the first 2 offensive drives, he played Parsons lined up in different spots of the defensive line. The rest of the game, he lined up against the left tackle.
I mean, it was all around.
If Parsons is some transitional player and he's some great talent, he's going to have to show up against other great talents. And he in the last 2 games, have you heard his name being called out for anything? Nothing.
He hasn't done nothing special.
And people are talking about him being MVP this year. I haven't seen it.
I saw it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and that was against the 2 New York teams.
Mm-hmm.
So every other team that's not in New York, our defense can't do anything against them. Apparently, that's what it seems. All right, let's move on. Talk about the Steelers' close win. Another close win against a divisional opponent in the AFC North.
This one got me. I didn't even think we were gonna win. I'll be honest. Yeah, we won. Offense still looked like trash. I mean, not much to say about it. Everybody knows my thoughts. Our defense held us in that game. Our defense just shut them down. They couldn't do nothing.
Mm-mm.
We just shut them down all day.
Suffocating.
Hit the quarterback 6 times. Joey Porter Jr. with that interception. That man's going to be deadly.
That was a terrible throw by Lamar.
Yes.
Like, that was just terrible. Like, I don't like it. As soon as it came out of his hands, I was like, "Oh, that's not good." You could tell as soon as it came out of his hands that the ball wasn't high enough. He didn't put any type of arm strength into it. He just flicked it to him.
Yeah. TJ Watt again, 2 sacks. Nobody has had an answer for him yet.
He's right now. He's defensive player of the year.
He's killing it right now. if it's not for our defense, I mean, our offense kind of looks shabby. They don't look good. It's the play calling. We already know what's going on. They need to get rid of their coach, and they need to get something like all these young quarterbacks are coming in, and they have offensive coaches that are making them better. How about can we get an offensive coach that makes our quarterback better? Like, come
I'm
on.
asking the same question in Dallas.
Like it's just sad that it's like I think I think the stat is we've had one 400-yard game in like 3 seasons.
And
That's
that was like what against the Raiders this year, wasn't it?
no, that was a couple years. That was I think it was a Big Ben game. But like we're not no yards, man. Like offense is just so slow.
I
We
mean,
like
even y'all still won that game, and y'all's fans were still chanting "Fire Canada."
exactly because he's trash. Like total yards, we had 289 total yards. Baltimore had 335. Just imagine how deadly we could be if we were putting up yards.
It's not.
I think we have the longest streak of I think our average is like 15 points a game in the last 2 seasons. That's horrible. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, we won. I'm happy we won, but we're not going to win against that anybody else. There's like we can't win like that. We can finish above 500, but we're not going to make no playoff run. It's simple as that.
I just
We just got
I
lucky that
expected
Ravens played like
more out
shit.
of Baltimore.
We just got lucky the Ravens played like shit. That's all that was.
I expected a lot more out of Baltimore.
I'm hoping we fire Matt Canada this week. You know, we
Not
got the
gonna,
bye week.
not gonna happen.
They need to. They need to do something. But we got a bye week. Maybe they can get their shit together.
I mean, even with y'all's touchdown y'all's game winning, or yeah, it was when y'all took the lead that drive. Y'all took the lead. Like they had a shot of Canada in the booth during that
And he
play.
didn't no
There
emotion.
was no emotion or reaction
Like
whatsoever.
these if we lost 100%, they were firing Matt Canada. Like
Like
he couldn't be excited. He couldn't be excited that they just saved his job. Maybe like
there
what?
was right. Like your
And
offense
once
hasn't done
again,
anything all game, and then y'all finally do something, and you have no emotion.
other than that
That's
41-yard pass to George Pickens, our longest pass of the day was 23 yards, and it was a screenplay to Jalen Warren again. I was happy to see that George Pickens was getting targeted a lot more.
yeah.
6 catches, 130 yards. That's what it needs to be. But
Oh no, there's a
our
lot of
offense is trash. I mean, our
and
players are good. Our players are awesome. I think we have a solid team. We got to do something better with the play calling.
yeah. I expected a lot more out of Baltimore. Lamar Jackson didn't play well at
I
all.
even said it. I even said it. I didn't think that Pittsburgh was going to win, but I'll never pick against them. I thought Baltimore was going to win.
It was crazy. All right, we're gonna transition now to Jamar Chase carries the Bengals over Arizona
This man
to
went
win
stupid.
34-20 was the final score.
This man, Jamar Chase, went stupid.
15 receptions, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Dude was just nobody could stop him. Nothing. Nobody.
I mean, what did he say in the press conference after the game last week against
Did he say
Tennessee?
something like, "Just give me the ball"?
I'm always fucking open.
Yeah, I'm always open. Give me the ball. Fuck. All right, I see.
Yeah.
Like that shit. He just went. He went in.
Yeah.
He played awesome.
That was
I mean, Joe
solely
Burrow's played good. I
that
mean,
was
all
solely
around they
him.
played good. Joe Mixon had 25 carries for 81 yards. I mean, they spread the ball around, but fuck, 15 receptions, my guy. He
Off of 19 targets.
that man, he did some work.
That's it's what almost an 85% completion percentage just to one player. That's
That's
insane.
yeah.
I would definitely say the way that Cincinnati looked, the way that Joe Burrow looked, he did a lot of scrambling. Didn't look like that calf was bothering him.
No, he played. I think he played really well.
So it might be safe to say that Carolina is on an upwards, or Carolina, I mean Cincinnati is on a upward trajectory.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati's a good team. They just had to get their shit together. That's all it was.
They gotta figure out a reason what's behind these slow starts in the season.
Mm-hmm.
But they got an opportunity this week. I don't know if they're on a bye this week or not, but we'll find out later in the episode if they have an opportunity to get to 500 before their bye week. If it's not this week, that is couldn't have come any later really for them to figure something out. Because if they would have lost this game to Arizona, ooh, you can go ahead and just chalk up the season. Because they would have to essentially win out if they wanted to have at least a wild card run in the playoffs. I don't think someone with 4 losses is gonna win y'all's division.
I think. I
I
think
don't even I don't even
Bengals
think.
could come back and win the division.
Yeah,
Honestly,
they could. I think a 3-loss team could win y'all's division, but I don't see a 4-loss team win y'all's division.
but honestly, if we could get our shit together, honestly, I don't. I think we take the division all day.
Yeah, there's not really too much else to really talk about this game. It was pretty much just behind Joe Burrow and Chase. It was a nice mix with Mixon getting his
Yeah,
carries,
it was.
their dose of the run and pass. But that was an LSU product of a football game right there. Joe
He
Burrow and
he had
Chase.
something to prove this week. He backed
Who,
up his
Burrow
words.
or
No,
Chase?
Chase.
Oh,
He backed up what
definitely.
he said.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
everybody was hating. Jamar Chase is a hell of a wide receiver.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not the best. If he's not the best, he's top 3.
He's definitely top 5 because there's a lot of good receivers. I mean, you got Chase, Jefferson, Adams, uh, AJ Brown.
Well, yeah, no, there's a
I mean,
lot. I'm just saying he's up there.
I
I
mean,
think he's up there.
you even got the young receivers, Pickens, Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a ton of great receivers. Like, and it's just gonna keep getting better.
Yeah.
Like the receiver class that's gonna probably come out of college this year is probably gonna be crazy as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just gonna keep getting more crowded. A lot of teams are gonna have a lot of good receivers. It's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll transition to our next game. Patriots, they lose their second straight blowout in
Bro,
2 weeks.
they look like shit.
They
When
lose
are
to
they? They're
Dallas 35-3, and then they lose to the Saints 34-0.
so one. I know Mac Jones got hurt. He got his neck injury, right?
No, that's Daniel Jones. Mac
Oh,
Jones
yeah,
just
that
got
was Daniels.
benched.
Never mind.
Mac
Never mind.
Jones
He
just
got
got
yeah.
benched. He had 2
So
interceptions. One was a pick six.
so when is it? Do you think the Patriots are gonna just be done with him? Man's playing like trash. Like he's not even showing any potential to be a starter.
Yeah, I mean, there's questions. There's questions for him, and then there's questions for Belichick. I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I guess you could say the coach because he's the coach and the general manager. So I mean, he's handling the recruiters. He's or the
They
scouts
like
or whatever, and then the draft picks. So I mean,
they
he
should have
knows
just
who his
kept
quarterback
Cam Newton
is.
around.
They know Mac Jones probably needs protection. He probably needs really good receivers. So I mean, at this point, the Patriots are going to have a top 5 pick because
Yeah, they need to go after a
I don't see
quarterback.
them winning too many other games. I mean, that's 2 straight weeks in a row. He has his largest loss and then his second largest loss, and they're
Hmm.
by a point. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna like it. When do they say enough? Because it's not even like he hasn't been playing good ever.
mm-mm.
Like when do you say enough is enough and
the
do something?
the only win they have is against the Jets, and the
Yeah,
Jets right now, the Jets look better than they do.
yeah. I mean, Derek Carr looked good. Alvin Kamara looked good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Saints look all around night. They look good all the way.
It was
Um,
definitely a big turnaround for their loss against Bucks.
yeah,
Or
definitely.
wait,
Yeah, I think it was the
yeah,
Bucks they lost to last week.
they lost to Bucks and the Packers so far this year. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Saints are looking good, but New England. Normally, New England's a team you got to be worried about facing. Not anymore.
Oh
Not anymore. They can't do nothing.
no, I mean the only receiver that they have really that is somewhat worth anything, and he's not that expensive, and it's Juju. I mean, me personally, I think he should have stayed in Pittsburgh, but he probably wanted way too much money, and
Yeah.
he was young, and he was focused a lot. He was, I would probably say, more focused on TikToking and um, being a YouTuber, being a content creator than being
Yep.
a professional athlete.
Yeah.
So that was
Patriots
another
look just
reason for his departure, I think. In Pittsburgh.
Patriots just all around look like trash. Like there's nothing, no good points. I don't, in my
Mm-mm.
opinion.
Mm. You gotta think about it, and a lot of the players that they have on their team come from winning organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Juju just won a Super Bowl with Kansas City.
I bet you he regrets leaving.
Uh, Zeke Zeke signed with them for a year, and
He's not going to resign.
they hardly even play him.
No. What did he get? 8 touches? No,
He
he
only
got
got
12 touches. He got
he got
eight
more
rushing and then four receiving.
he got more touches against the Saints, and he only had 6 total against his former team
They're not using
that he normally wins with.
they're not using him right. They need to use Zeke a little more.
There there's a lot of questions, and I think a lot of those questions need to be answered in the offseason, and it's most likely in their coaching staff. I mean, they're gonna have a high draft pick, and if they have a high draft pick, if you have your chance of getting either Caleb, there's no telling if Shador is gonna enter the draft. Drake
No, he's gonna
May
stay one more year.
from North Carolina. I mean, there's gonna be quarterbacks that are gonna go in the draft. There's gonna be
Yeah,
a lot of them. The one from LSU, Jaden Daniels. There's gonna be options. They get a high draft pick. I think they will.
they're gonna have to go after a
But
quarterback.
they're gonna draft a quarterback. I
Mac
mean,
Jones is he's not a
no,
franchise quarterback.
no. All right, we will transition to the last game with a Thursday night game. The Bears, they pretty much shocked everyone and the entire NFL with a 20-point win over the Commanders. 40-20
This
was
one
the
was a
final
shocker,
score.
man.
This this game was this game was over from start to finish.
The issue here, the Commanders started off way too slow. Way too
Yep.
slow. Second half, they started playing really well. I will say, Sam Howell is a he's a quarterback. He's a good quarterback. The issue with Washington is they started off so slow. They had 29 rushing yards.
I mean,
29. They
I mean,
couldn't they
they were down 10-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. So, I mean, Sam Howell threw the ball 51 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. You're definitely not running a balanced offense.
No. No. I mean, it was so that they were already down by 2 scores at the end of the first quarter. I believe on their third drive they came down and kicked a field goal. Or they might even got that field goal near the end of the half. I can't really remember. But
Yeah, I think it was.
it was 27-3 at the end of the first half. They had no choice but to throw the ball really at that point. So I can understand why they have 51
The man did everything
attempts.
he could.
I mean, granted, he only threw 1 pick, so that's good.
It was
But-
so weird because Washington's defense played like Chicago's defense has been playing, and Chicago's defense has played like Washington's defense has been playing.
It was
Like it's complete role change. Washington's defense just I don't know where they were at.
one thing that happened that I don't think people are highlighting is either their head coach isn't calling offensive plays anymore. They quietly switched that role during the week. He's calling defensive plays, and the offensive coordinator is now calling the offense. So that might be a reason for a sudden swap.
I mean, Chicago played
'Cause-
good.
Dude, that performance was crazy. It was just from the first possession, you could see that the Bears were more prepared, and they were tired of all the outside noise. Like,
Yeah, they played really well.
that was probably the best game I've seen Justin Fields play, and it was definitely DJ Moore's best game as a Bear. He was 8 for 10, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns.
They played phenomenal.
Dude, and then their rushing game is like they had a total of 178 rushing yards, and if you look at their rushing comparison, they used 4 different backs, and all of them had double-digit yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compared to Washington, the only 2 people ran the ball, and it was 1 running back, and it was quarterback for most of his life that game.
Yep. Yeah,
no,
they played really well.
And
If
Fields
they can
only
keep playing like this, I mean, hell, DJ Moore had 8 receptions for 230 yards.
Yeah, no. Fields only threw the ball 29 times.
He only had 282 yards throwing. Like he had all the offense.
They won by
DJ Moore
20.
went off too.
They won by 20. Like there's oh no, we're gonna have to play close attention to see if they can stack these wins. I mean, I don't think that I mean, there's a chance that they could still make a wild card, but that's a tall task, I would say, for them. But we'll just have to pay close attention because if they can stack these performances, man. That was
We'll see if they can do something. If they can build off that momentum.
Chicago Bears fans, they've slept good all weekend, all week.
Yeah, very much.
Leading up to their next game, they've been sleeping fine. They haven't worried about too much.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can talk about. Got through that. We got through our first segment pretty quickly. So we can go ahead and we can go through these injury updates and everything.
There's a bunch this week.
Yeah, there was a lot. We'll talk about like key players and stuff like that. Well, we've already mentioned about Van Der Esch and Donovan Wilson for Dallas. They're out or questionable at least. Um, you informed me about was it is it
So Justin Jefferson is going to be out probably around 4 weeks.
yeah Jeff? He's out
Um,
with his hamstring.
so here's the thing with Justin Jefferson. It might be longer.
Really?
Yeah. And here's what I heard is because he's to a point now he's not happy with his contract.
Hmm.
He didn't get the money he wanted. They're losing. Why would he rush back?
True.
It makes total sense. I 100% get it. So why rush back and worry about getting hurt? So they're saying he's out at least 4 weeks. It could be 6. Um, and then Arcane for the Miami hurt his knee, so he's going to be out. I think 4 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, they said a few weeks, so nobody's really sure. And I know Connor hurt his knee as well,
And
and
James
he'll
Conner,
be
he's
he'll
it
be a
said
couple weeks.
doubtful on ESPN, but with his knee,
Yeah,
it's most likely going to be a couple.
yeah. I saw the report they put out. It was literally about right when I sent that to you is around when the guy when they posted it. Um, and he said a few weeks. They didn't say specific, so
Kyler Murray, he's still listed out with his knee that he injured last year. T. Higgins and Deshaun Watson are both questionable for this week. Aaron Jones and Anthony Richardson's are both ruled out
yeah. I
going into
think
week 6.
Anthony Richardson is probably going to be out for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
The
he's
AC
got
joint.
he's
They're
got
not
the
going to rush him
same
back
sprain
as long as
that Carr had.
Minshew, yeah, as long as Minshew keeps playing good, they're not going to rush him back and get him seriously hurt.
Yeah, that no point in rushing him. He's played well, gotten hurt, and at least 2 of these games.
Yeah,
So let's just rest him, let him get 100%, and then
and
bring him
Minshew's
back.
playing good, so
Yeah,
you can't.
and I mean they're still in their division, so I mean
Mm-hmm.
all is good. No need to panic. All right, we're gonna transition to our power rankings. Not much has really changed this week for the top 2. The Niners and Philadelphia, they remain where they are at. The Niners, of course, they handled business against Dallas, and Philly handled business against the Los Angeles Rams. Coming in at 3rd is the Kansas City Chiefs. They were ranked 4th last week. I don't have a problem with that. Uh, they've looked fine. Could be better, but they're finding ways to win.
Yeah.
Same way that Philly did their first few weeks. I'm fine with that there. The Dolphins, they moved up to number 4. They were ranked 6 last week.
Yeah, we said they were going to bounce between that 4 and 8. They were going to bounce back and forth.
Yeah,
We already knew that.
they'll bounce back and forth. What we said from last week, so that's nothing too new. And they went against the Giants, and you mentioned earlier about Daniel Jones' neck, so he's most likely going to be out, I would say, for a few weeks.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a little bit, but has anybody said what the injury was?
They just said it was. They just said that it was his neck. They didn't really say
that's all
anything
I heard
specific.
was a neck injury. Never heard nothing specific.
Right. And this team moved up a lot. Probably the most from last week. The Lions move up to fifth. They were ranked eighth last week. Uh, I would say that's fair. The Lions have looked pretty good in
Hmm.
all of their wins. Um, but they've lost two times or one.
The Lions have lost
One,
once, I think.
yeah, and one loss is in overtime to Seattle. So I'm fine with them being there. They're a really physical team. They can run the ball and they can throw it. Um, they've got a talented young tight end in Laporta. Uh,
Yeah, he's looking really nice.
yeah. And Dan Campbell has been a saving grace for that organization. I can say that. Coming in at sixth, the largest drop
We already knew this was gonna happen.
was the Bills. They come off a tough loss in London, across the pond, against the Jaguars. Yeah, it was. I'd probably say that Jacksonville had the advantage because they had an entire 2 weeks in London. They didn't have to take that long 17-hour flight. They didn't have to do all this other bullshit with customs and get adjusted uh to the air and the just the atmosphere there and everything. And then teams when they first come to visit, they want to go sightseeing, and when they've got all these meet and greets or whatever that they have to do with media and stuff. Um, so I would say that Jacksonville had the advantage in their matchup. They were there all week. They had already did their NFL duties off the field their first week against Atlanta. So yeah,
Yeah,
the
Jacksonville might as well just move overseas.
I mean,
They kill it over
apparently
there.
apparently Goodell had he had an interview with some reporters or whatever, and he's interested in the thought of bringing multiple of having multiple teams in that area
I think that
to
would be cool
where
though.
because he wants to figure it out to where like because that was even brought up if Jacksonville had an advantage because they were there for 2 weeks, and he was like, well, if we, that's what we were thinking about. If we had teams here that were based here, then when they have games on the schedule, home games against other teams, we'll just have them play each of those teams in back-to-back weeks. So they're here for 2 weeks and then they go back instead of two American teams coming here. One stays and has an extra week there, and the other team leaves, and then another team flies in and face that same team. So
I
one
think it would
team
be
doesn't
kind of
have an
cool.
advantage.
I
Yeah,
think it would be
I
kind of
mean,
cool.
that's the thing. But how would you do that? Because
I
you
don't know.
couldn't just make one conference division there. It couldn't just be an AFC or an NFC. You'd have to make two different conferences.
Yeah,
Then
that sounds like it's above our pay grade.
you'd have to bring at least four teams, or at least three teams, four teams. You'd have to make full divisions for that. So I mean, it goes from 32 to probably what?
36.
Shit. Yeah, 36 teams. I mean, it might be possible.
Yeah, it could
Um,
be possible. It would be cool though. It definitely would be pretty cool.
but that's with Roger Goodell and the UK or Germany, because there's still I think there's a game still going to be played in Germany this year. I
Hmm.
mean, there's no telling. They might put an NFC teams in UK, AFC teams in Germany, and split them up that way. So there's no telling. It's gonna be interesting because I think they still have to vote. The NFL has to get a vote on if they want to expand, anyways. So there's a lot that's gonna have to be done if that happens, and it'll be a few years before that happens, I would believe. Um, Making another, and they only dropped 2 spots. They probably should have dropped more, in my opinion. The Cowboys come in at 7, ranked fifth last week. Um, I probably could have seen them drop further. They just they just got manhandled from all aspects: offense, defense, special teams. Nothing was working. And they've got another tough opponent before the bye week. They play the Chargers on Monday night. So it'll be interesting. They've got another primetime game against another playoff team in the AFC, a potential team that they would probably meet in the Super Bowl. It's the only way that they would meet them in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do something. This team can put up points. There's ways that you can score on the Chargers. The Chargers they don't have a defense like the Niners. So I'm expecting our offense to have a better performance. Um, I would say this: if Dak Prescott doesn't throw for more than 200 yards, we've got problems. Huge problems. Huge problems. Moving up 2 spots from last week, the Seahawks coming in 8. They were ranked 10th last week. Who did they had a bye week this week, didn't they? Week 5. Yeah, they didn't play, so they're coming off a bye week.
And they still moved up.
Yeah,
All right.
they should be pretty well rested. And I'm not seeing that they played.
No, they had a bye week this week. Yes. Yeah, they were bye.
So that's
this
pretty.
week. Yeah.
Didn't play. Move up a couple spots. Cool.
Hey, you can't beat it, right?
Staying put at where they were last week. The Bucks. I believe the Bucks had a bye week as well. So that's
Yeah, the Bucks
interesting.
did.
The Seahawks move up 2 spots, and the Bucks stay where they're at.
All
Pretty
right.
cool. Coming in the top 10 this week, they were 13th last week. The Jacksonville Jaguars. It's probably warranted. They did beat Buffalo by 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't
I
look that
figured
close.
they were gonna move up.
So that would wrap up the top 10. Now we can move into our last segment
Yes.
of the episode, our week 6 picks.
And just so everybody knows, last week I finished 10-4. Freak finished 8-6. So overall for the season, I am 50-28, and Freak is 43-35. I'm just steadily, just little by little, pulling ahead.
That's bullshit. All I can say is bullshit.
Little by little, I'm pulling ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna pull ahead a little more this week.
All right. We're going to start with our Thursday night game. Denver travels to Arrowhead, faces the Kansas City Chiefs.
You gonna take the Broncos?
No, I'm going Chiefs here.
Yeah, I did too.
That's an easy one. All right, we're going to move on to our noon games. Got Washington versus Atlanta.
This one's gonna be a close one. I think it could go either way on this one.
Yeah, I got Atlanta.
I got the Commanders.
I got Falcons winning this one.
Yeah, I think the Commanders are gonna win this one.
We will find out. All right, coming off a bye week.
Don't forget, you forgot the morning game, the 9:30 game, the London game.
Oh, that's a London game.
Baltimore and Tennessee.
Is that the German? That might be the Germany game then.
No, it's in London.
They've already had 2.
Yeah, they got another. They got one in London this week too. They're putting some more London games down.
This is gonna be interesting. Both teams.
Both teams are good. It could go either way.
I'm gonna go Baltimore.
I went Titans.
All right. Now we'll move on to the Seattle Bengals game. Seattle's coming off a bye. Bengals came off of a big win. I went Bengals.
You went Bengals?
Yep.
I went Seahawks.
It's going to be a division matchup. Indianapolis versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville won the first matchup.
I
I
went
got the
Colts here.
Colts. Yeah, I got Colts here.
I did too. Yeah.
All right, probably going to be a blowout. Miami versus Carolina. Got the
Yeah,
Dolphins.
I did too.
Got another divisional matchup. Minnesota versus Chicago. Got the Bears.
I did too with them with Justin Jefferson not playing. I think the Bears take it.
Yep. San Francisco travels to Cleveland.
49ers.
Got the Niners. Sean Watson is questionable. Give me the Niners. Got New Orleans travels to Houston.
This one could be a good game.
It could be. It's questionable.
I went Saints on this one.
With New Orleans on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Saints.
All right. So that's all the early games.
Yep.
So,
Afternoon games start with New England and the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
yeah, I'm not picking New England. I've
Nope.
seen how they played.
Yep. We've got 3:30, 4:30 games. Detroit versus Tampa. Give me the Lions.
I went Lions too. I think this is another one that can go either way.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah, another divisional matchup. Arizona versus the Rams. I went Rams here.
I did too, especially with Connor being out.
Yeah. No run game.
None.
The last of the late Sunday afternoon games. Philly versus the Jets. I got Philly.
I went Philly. Yep.
Yeah. Then we've got our Sunday night matchup. The Giants versus Buffalo. Give me the Bills.
Yeah, I took the Bills.
And this will wrap up our weekly picks. Monday night, Dallas, SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles Chargers. Who you got?
I went Chargers.
You son
No,
of a
I'm just playing.
bitch.
I went Cowboys. I went Cowboys.
Give me them boys.
Yeah, I went Cowboys on this.
I still favor Dallas. They're 8-1, following a loss. I don't expect them to have another lackluster offensive performance. I think the Chargers defense isn't as good as ours, nor the Niners. So give me Dallas. Dallas, 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 Dallas. All right, Babs. Got through this one pretty quickly.
Yep.
Pretty fast episode. Is there anything that you want to talk about? We got I'd probably say maybe 5-10 minutes left that we could spare for the episode. If there's anything else that you saw this week that you might want to bring up, mention any injuries, trades, any type of rumors you're hearing.
I don't think anything specific really. They need to fire Matt Canada, but other than that, I think we covered everything that I can think of.
Yep. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, weekly episodes are every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. You can follow us on X at 2GuysPC. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep.
Let us know. Comment Tell us what your favorite part is, what you think that we can work on, or if you got any ideas, or if you got a question for us. We'll see to it to respond to all comments and see if we can get y'all's thoughts brought into the next episode.
Yeah, definitely.
When do you think that we should bring up our next adventure that we have for the show? To get into that point, do you think we need to wait a few more weeks?
We could wait a few more weeks.
Yeah, still gotta hear from a few more people out on the interweb on what this extra project could entail. We kind of already leave little hints here and there. If you just pay attention, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed. We're out.
Later.
Later.